The whip.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to July 1st edition of Tuesday Notary Titans. We are so glad that you are here today. There's my girl, Laura. Hey, Laura, my name is Jen Neitzel, and I am joined by my co-host, Laura Bewer. Hey, Laura, how are you today?
I am good. Just sliding in sideways.
We do that sometimes. Matt said you guys were just on a previous call, so that happens. So, Laura and I are your co-hosts, and we are joined by Jennifer Cooper with JKC Mobile Notary. Say hi to everybody, Jen.
Hey, everybody.
And of course, the one and only Matt Miller, the president of the California League of Independent Notaries. Hey, Matt.
Hey Jen, hey everyone. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, we are so excited to welcome all of our new TNT watchers today. Very special welcome to you if you are brand new. And we are going to start today the way we always do with some announcements. So, first things first, all the rules, all the etiquette, all that stuff, you're going to be able to find in the chat. So, check that out if you have any rules about posting or if you have any questions about posting or what the rules are for this call. And then any announcements we make, we will also throw in that chat. And speaking of announcements, I got a biggie today. So, let's start with the smaller ones. Not smaller ones, that's the wrong way to say that. Let's start with other ones. Sorry. And I'm just going to forewarn everybody now. I'm just having one of those days where I'm not making big mistakes, but like everything I touch there's just something a little off about it. So apologies in advance. It's just one of those days for some reason. So, Matt, let's start with you. I want you to tell us what is happening on the 3rd with the California League of Independent Notaries.
Thanks, Jen. Yes, we are having our monthly roundtable this Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific. If you have already signed up for the meeting before, you'll get a reminder that day. If not, you can sign up at calnotaries.org/events. And this month we'll be talking about a whole new batch of bills that have been recently passed across the country, what they mean for you and your business, if they are compliance measures, or if they are new policies that have unlocked new opportunities. We're going to tell you how to leverage those opportunities. So hope to see you Thursday at 5 p.m. And I will drop the link in the chat. Actually, I think it's already there. Thank you very much, Jen.
I bet you anything. Jen's already dropped it in there for us. And if you are in California or not, you can partake in this call because Matt deals with legislation all over the country, not just specifically in California. Thank you, Matt. Very important call that he hosts every month. There is another notary event happening in September. It's here in Dallas, Texas, where I live, and it's called the Empower Notary Summit. It's September 20th and 21st, and the link to register will be in the chat. It is not specific to Texas notaries, it's for any notary around the country. So come for 2 days of learning and fun. This is a powerful conference to attend. I also have a big announcement today. Today is Marketing for Notary's 6th birthday, you guys. 6 years of having an online presence. I can't believe it. I also did something a little crazy this morning. I said, what the heck? And threw caution to the wind. You can now, for today only, and I'm probably never going to do this again because it's ridiculous, but you can join Marketing for Notaries, not for 124, which is the sale price that was happening through the end of conference and the end of June, but you can now join just for today until midnight for $116. You guys, it's 8.5 months free. You keep the price forever. This offer does expire at midnight tonight. I can't do this for very long. So if you have ever thought that you need a marketing plan, now's the time to jump in. And I just wanted to do this to help with our increasing our membership. I've got some goals for membership, but also I want every notary to be able to afford this 5-point marketing system because it works. Okay. Wow, today we have an awesome looking crowd. If you guys can turn those cameras on, we would love to see your shining, smiling summer faces. If not, totally understand. No reasoning is necessary. So let me explain how this call works. Laura and Jen and Matt and I are here to answer all of your notary questions. Whatever we can do to help you in your practice of being a notary and building your business, that's why this call exists. So all you have to do is raise your virtual hand. You'll find it at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and it will put you in line to have your questions answered. So while you guys are raising those hands, and no questions are off limits, you can ask us anything. Go ahead now and start getting those hands raised. And Laura, while we are doing that, I wanted to send a special shout out to one of our very dear friends who last night was the recipient of the inaugural Notary Star Award through the Notary Stars program that's hosted by Ronnie Mickle. It's the one and only, you know her, you love her, Celicia Young Jones. Hey, Celicia, congratulations. We're so
Thank
excited for
you.
you.
Thank you. It was a shock and an honor. And when Ronnie called me a couple of months ago to tell me, where are you going to be on June the 30th? I said, well, I think probably selling my parents' home. He said, well, you need to be someplace else because you're going to be our first notary, star notary of the year. And I was just stunned and amazed. And he came yesterday from Phoenix to give me the award. Amy showed up. Michelle Klempner drove up and surprised me. And
Nice.
it was just absolutely amazing. And I can't believe I got through the NNA conference with my mouth shut.
I am actually you didn't say anything. Good for you.
Thank you. And it's just an honor. And the reason that I was selected is because I promote all of the good things about notary and being like as Bill Soroka always say, the white hat in the room, and we are the good guys. And a rising tide lifts all boat, and we help others, and
Right.
collaboration over competition. And that's the honor that I was given, and I'm so incredibly honored. And thank you for recognizing me.
Well, we are just thrilled for you, and there is no one more deserving. So, congratulations, Celicia. And I will be,
Where do you think I got all this stuff from? You, Bill, Laura, Carol Ray, Matt, all of those people. That's who I have to thank for crafting me and improving my craft and shaping me into the notary I am today. Thank you.
we are just thrilled to be in your orbit, Celicia. So, I'm excited for you. It is such a well-deserved honor, and you've got lots of love coming your way in the
I
chat.
see that. I
Check that
see that.
out.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, since we don't have any questions raised, Laura, what do you say we tap into um, our resources of questions? How does that sound?
Well, do we have some?
We do. This is one I would love for you to talk about because you are kind of um, I would say the queen bee when it comes to this.
Okay.
How can I diversify my income as a notary? You have a
I
great resource for this.
I would say that the first thing you want to do is realize the truth. And the truth is loan signings is a specialty.
Mm.
That's what it is. And there are about 10 or 20 more of them. All right. So once you get your hands around, it's not the specialty, it's a specialty. And there are a lot of other things you can do to complement that work. Then you're going to be on the right path. Second thing that I'm going to say is think about all the different places that the work is found. Even if you're not doing it, you're attending these calls, people talk about going to hospitals, people talk about doing al pastille work, people talk about living trust work, people talk about doing field inspection. Yesterday I was asked to go run a foreclosure auction. So I mean, there are so many different specialties out there that you can get your hands around. once you're open to that. Now, Bill and I did write a book, as it so happens, and it's in the chat, that describes about 15 of them. Some require a notary commission and some do not, although a notary commission is helpful, because sometimes that's the only reason they hire you, is because they love that you're a notary, even though you're not going to notarize anything. And then once you've identified a handful of those, decide which one you want to go after. You can't go after 15 at the same time. All right, so pick one or two, find out more about that, and see if that's a fit for where you are. Some business is better when you're right in the city. Some works better when you're in a rural area. So you want to take those things into consideration. So I hope that gets you started.
Yeah, tell us a little more about the Beyond Loan Signings book. And you guys feel free to raise your hand to get in line for questions while Laura's talking. But tell us a little bit more about the book, because it does a little bit more than just talk about the different specialties under the notary umbrella. You guys get kind of deep into how to create that revenue stream.
How to create those opportunities. So in each one, we talk about the different ways you get in the door.
Yeah.
Right? How do you find the work? And then once you find the work, how do you get so that you're the one chosen? So we do that for each one of the specialties. It follows a certain pattern. And then we also have a place, part of it's like workbook form, where you can fill in what are the rules in your state so that you know whether that specialty will work in your state or not. Some states are a little bit travel unfriendly, let's say. And so some of the things may not work as well as the bundled types of work, which are loan signings, trusts, and a couple of others. So that's really what we did in that book. And it came from my experience. The marketing part was Bill, but the rest of it was me. And it was the work that I had been doing, how I found it, starting with my own journal, my own notary journal. Where was I notarizing? Who was paying me to show up? And where was that coming from? And then I saw, oh, these are repeatable assignments. I could find out more about that and then specialize in it.
And I think a lot of people don't tap into that amazing resource of information, which is your notary journal. And to be able to see what kind of documents people in your community are needing notarized. So that's genius just to start there, right, with the most obvious thing, and that is your notary journal. So I'm so glad that you said that.
And I think the last thing I'd like to add to that is the way you get work outside of loan signings is title companies and signing companies. There's kind of paths out there to follow, but there are no established paths in this other stuff. So you need to identify, who in that world is the hiring party, who
Yeah.
you have to talk to get yourself in the door. And it means you have to build relationships with people. You can't just put yourself in a directory. Even though that said, having a Google My Business or a Google profile where you can list all the different things you can do is probably the number one digital way to have other people know you're available for this type of work and or to find you connected to that type of work.
Yeah, absolutely. Because what do we do as consumers? We're notaries, but we're consumers too. What do we do when we need to find a service or a new restaurant that we want to go to? We do what? We Google it, right? It's a verb now in our language. We Google it. So your community, when they're looking for a notary, they're also going to Google that. So you want to make sure that you have a very robust Google business profile. And in fact, Jen, would you mind putting our friend Jim Allen's information about his Google business profile in the chat? So anybody that would like to access this very affordable, very powerful training that Laura and I both recommend, you can check that out after the call. Jim Allen is without a doubt the Google business profile guru in the notary community. Wouldn't you say, Laura?
Yeah, and I love what Jen just posted, which is if you're using a tool like Notary Assist, you don't have to manually look through the pages of your journal. You can see what the work is.
Yeah.
And you can see by customer or by type of work if you're making use of all of that robust reporting feature that she has in there.
Yeah, who here is a Notary Assist customer? Drop us a one in the chat. Let's show, so I can tell Sue how many Notary Assist folks we have on the TNT call, because you know Sue pops into this call every now and again, and she's just the best, isn't she? She's Kristen. We do love Sue. She's wonderful. Look at all you guys. That's amazing. Notary Assist is a fantastic product. If you are not using it, it is definitely something that Laura and I highly recommend. Well, I guess everybody's got their questions answered, Laura.
Yes, so I know Larry had posted in our TNT. I know, don't
Oh,
put you on the
yes.
spot.
Larry. Where's Larry? Larry. I saw him on
Posted
here a
on
minute ago. There
TNT
he is.
page about an experience that he would love to get my perspective on, but I bet Matt would also have an interesting perspective on it as well. Larry, you wrote the whole thing. Some of us may have seen it, we may have read it already, but can you give us a quick synopsis of what happened with that appointment? I'll let you
Okay.
swallow.
Yeah, thank you. We finished lunch quickly. Um, Basically, it was something that I saw posted in another uh, um, Facebook notary group, and it was someone who was being asked. And the reason I sort of flagged it and wanted to show it in the Tuesday Notary Titans group was because it was about going into healthcare facilities and doing a signing. And I know that Laura, you have all kinds of experience in it. And what was fascinating was that they were asking this notary to be like so clandestine. Like you come in, you can't tell anyone what you're doing here. You can't pull out your book until we're alone, until the client is here. Don't, it was like they asked her pretty much everything but put on a fake mustache. And I guess one of the hiring partners was a lawyer, so it was supposed to be on the up and up, but they never seemed to explain why all the secrecy. What's the big deal? And my thought was, well, why would any facility care? I mean, you could just walk in there and do a notarization with the client, I would think, but that explains my naivete about how that works. And people were jumping in. There's a lot more to it, but people were jumping in and explaining that some facilities would demand that you notify them, have an ombudsman there, and that sort of thing. But I'm all, well, maybe, but I don't see what the secrecy was. So it just seemed weird and odd. And because it's an area don't know all that much about, I thought, well, Laura would be interested in this. Maybe Laura could help us out, or people in the Tuesday Notary Titan group could help.
I was very interested in it, Larry, and I think that it was a big fat red flag, all that secrecy. Now, it's not that the facility needed to know the exact details of an appointment, but certainly they're a business. They got people coming and going. They got rules they got to worry about. And to have a stranger coming in, even if it's a notary, to see one of their clients, I don't see anything wrong with them saying, hey, we've got an appointment, we've got a professional coming in, and we're going to be meeting outside. It's not that they necessarily need to know that, but I will tell you, it was a 6-bed facility. And a 6-bed, everybody kind of knows what everybody's doing. You know, it's not like it's a hospital setting or a big sniff setting. It's 6 people. And when I have 6 people and I ran one of these facilities, I know what everybody's doing. I know what documents they got going on. I know all that stuff because I'm handling the doctor's appointments. I'm doing all that stuff. So I don't think there should have been an issue unless there was an issue. And the issue that I'm thinking about, first of all, when you say that the husband was an attorney, okay, right there, that to me doesn't lean, oh, so it must be on the up and up. Right there, that's saying, oh, and my husband's an attorney. Why do I need to know that? What is the deal? Are you trying to say, oh, he prepared it? Or is he telling me how to get around the rules of how to operate in one of these facilities? Not all notaries are on the up and up, and not all attorneys are on the up and up as well. I don't trust every attorney just because attorney comes after their name. So, and I don't even know what area of law that attorney practiced. But the thing was, is some of the other comments that were made in that post included what the facility said when they came out. So first of all, let me just back up that the notary felt, after having a conversation with the patient, that he had capacity, he knew what he was doing, he seemed good enough for a notary. Remember, we're not attorneys, we're not developing, are they competent? Are they alert and aware with me? That seemed to be an answer, yes, so the notary was willing to proceed. However, the facility person came out and discovered, I guess, what they were doing, and said, you can't be doing that. He has dementia, and that you haven't seen him in over an extended period of time. And that to me, and that's when it shut down. The whole thing, I guess, shut down and it didn't happen. And so one of the things about being in a little sick bed like that, working with these people, what they're like day in and day out, right? You're not spending 10 minutes with them, giving them medications and moving on to your other 10 clients. You really have a deep relationship with these people. And, she may have said, well, he has dementia. I don't really care what people have in terms of disease states, because somebody could have dementia, but it could be just memory loss at this time. It could be very early on, and they still have lots of time when they are lucid. And then they have times when they're not, like sundowners, where it's in the evening. So I'm more interested with how they are with me at that moment. And I'm also looking at, what's this document? My suspicion is that somebody else had power of attorney, was taking care of him, if in fact it had been over a year since she had seen them, and that she was trying to get it replaced with her own name to be in charge. That's what it looked like. And when somebody is, and even though I think she's the daughter, wasn't she the daughter, Larry? Yeah, the daughter, you would normally think, well, yeah, the daughter, but why hasn't she been the attorney in fact all this time? Why was somebody else in charge until now? So there is a lot of things going on in that particular situation, and I'm so glad that in the end, the whole thing got shut down by the facility person, right? It's like, it's not happening after that, and they left. But when you go into, I want you to know that these little facilities are very different than the big hospitals and big SNFs, because they are really in their business, I mean, every day. And I do talk to those people. I want to make sure they know, hey, I'm here. Is there anything you know about before I have them sign this, whatever it is, power of attorney, whatever it is? Because I know I can get some good information there, typically. And now I'm not going to just do it or not do it. Now I'm going to get my own opinion to see if it matches up with what they're telling me. So with these little facilities, your facility people are really good resources to know what's really going on there. So just, it's one of those things you need to be careful about when you go into facility work. It's good work, but there's a lot of skill in assessing and sussing out information and who are the good resources to get it from. Matt, do you have anything you want to
Yeah, I
add?
just read through the post, and I think, you mentioned it briefly. I think it's important that when you walk into a facility, no matter what size it is, that everybody knows why you're there. Because if there are parties involved, or related parties that aren't on the same page, that right there is a red flag. That's something you need to suss out and figure out what's going on. And yes, the staff at any healthcare facility, whether it's a SNF or a hospital or a sick bed, they're going to be your very best friends. Because if you do complete a transaction, and then later on you find out that this person was not supposed to be signing documents, for example, they're in memory care or something something like that, you could wind up in a very unpleasant situation. So yes, identify yourself. Yes, talk to the staff. Whatever your hiring party is trying to make you do, you don't ever want there to be any kind of finger pointing at you, that you did this incognito, under the radar notarization for a patient who may have appeared lucid to you, but completely isn't lucid at all. This is not only protecting the public from abuse and fraud, but also yourself from possible liability down the road.
And if you don't know, guys, facility people, they cannot be the attorney in fact. They cannot be the agent for the healthcare directive. They cannot. So if for any reason they say, well, I'm in charge right now and I'm the attorney in fact, there's your flag. Now you know you got a problem with the facility person, right? Because now they're upset that something's being taken away from them. And so those are questions I might ask. If I'm being presented with the power of attorney to be done, and they're saying, hey, they already have one, I'm gonna ask, okay, is there a different person? Because it could be even not the facility. It could be that it's a sibling. And now there's family drama happening between siblings and they don't like what's going on and they wanted to take over. And when I know there are siblings, because I'll ask, how many kids do you have? Oh, I've got 3 or 4, whatever. That do any live here? I just want to get an idea, if I can, from them, what's happening in the family dynamics. And I know it might feel a little nosy to you, but those are the things that could make the difference of you making a decision that helps get them what they need, the document, or helps protect them from somebody who's trying to access their assets or restrict them to where they are.
What a great conversation starter Larry's post created. Thank you, Larry, for posting that. That was unbelievable. And Laura, I wanted you to take a look. Normally, you guys know we prioritize raised hands over anything, but I think this goes along with your question. Steve asked about anyone offering reputable class about notary services for more sensitive or vulnerable populations. And that is something that Laura offers.
Yeah,
Can we tie a bow on this conversation with that so anybody that's interested in your training can take it?
yeah. So I do have LBP, and hospital work is one of those modules in there in that video series. I also do coach people separately. And I can start you off with a 15-minute consult, and that's at my Calendly link. But I also want to address Shelley because she's not in agreement with what we're saying. And the reason I do ask more questions, the reason why I do this is because they're going to pull the notary into court. Yeah, they're going to go to court and straighten out, but you think you're going to get left out of it? No, you're not going to get left out of it. And so you want to be protected with what people said, what helped you make your decisions about to proceed or to deny your service. And I have served as an expert witness in court on many occasions already, and they rip that notary from here to there. And so you want to be prepared because they're going to ask you those kinds of things. Did you see any red flags? Did you hear anything? Who was having the issue? So I do think that I don't think we can have judgment on it in terms of, they haven't seen him in a year. What kind of daughter is that? We can't have judgment that way, but we can kind of put all the pieces together so that we can make a good decision as the notary in the chair. What am I going to do this time? Is this something I need to stop? Or is this something that I can proceed? So I do think that you don't have to have their life history, but you do need to get a feel for what's going on from the facility side, from the family or hiring, and then from the signer themselves, because that's what gives you a good picture. Is this a good candidate for notarization? So that's all I wanted to say.
And
It's always okay to have a different opinion.
And people out there think that being a notary is just stamping a document, you guys. That's why everybody is smart to be on this call every Tuesday. And like Jen Cooper said, that's why they call Laura the GOAT right there. Thank you so much, Laura and Larry, for sharing that situation. So let's get to our raised hands. And it's Knight.
And there you go.
It's pronounced Denise. I just have half of my name up there.
Neat.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, tell us what state you're calling from.
California.
Hey, and what is your question for
Well,
us?
here actually it's an add-on to what Laura was just talking about.
Okay,
She pretty
great.
much described the situation I'm dealing with right now. What
Okay.
happened? Yeah, because what happened was I was hired by a signing service to do a signing for a young lady. So I went to the facility to do the signing. I met her outside, like I normally do when I do any other signing at a facility. I meet the family member or the hiring party outside. We talk, find out what we're going to do. Okay, fine. We go in, we do the signing. The person that's doing the signing, at the time I talked to him, he answered every question on point. I talked to him like I was talking to anybody else, answered every question on point. So we did the signing. He signed my book like he knew what he was doing, gave me a fingerprint, had valid ID, the whole thing, did the whole shot. Come to find out that his family already had a POA for him. He was not supposed to be signing papers. I was called 2 days later by the facility, the ombudsman at the facility, who
Uh-huh.
told me that I was supposed to check in at the front desk. My reply to her was that I checked in with the family member that hired me. And she says, well, the doctor would not have allowed you to have signing with him because he's not supposed to, he's not mentally capable of signing. And that to me was like, well, this man had a whole conversation with me. I found nothing wrong with his mental capabilities when I talked to him. And he was the one who wanted to go ahead and sign the POA and get it done so that this young lady could take care of his affairs. So now I've got an attorney sending me letters. I sent them a copy of my journal of that signing. I have not heard back from him yet, and that's been about a month now. But I
There's
haven't heard back from him yet. The young man has since passed away, and now the sister is debating the POA that the young lady had done by him. So now it's just kind of sit and wait kind of thing.
well, the POA died with him. So actually now it doesn't matter. I mean, POA is done. Can't use it. She can't use it for any reason. But I do want to say this. Let me get my thought together about one of the questions I ask is, do you already have a power of attorney? When they're doing a power of attorney, do you already have one in place? Because they may need to revoke it in order for another one to be, be put there. I do believe you should check in first at the facility, and I'm not saying their word is it. What I'm saying is they're a piece of the puzzle that can help us. So I don't just take the family's word. I need to talk with them. Plus, I want to get somebody else's opinion. And that typically is going to be a caregiver or whoever's running that facility. If it's a bigger one, I don't talk to the caregivers. I talk to the social services, because I'll have a social services department that can be helpful to that. I know, Matt, you want to add something when I'm done, so I'll turn it. I will release the mic to you as soon as I'm done. But I do think that, again, some of these, when I'm only getting one piece of the picture, then that's all I know. And if I can get 3 sides, which is who hired me, the signer I'm talking to, and the social services department, the nurse, the caregiver, whatever it is, I have a better shot at making a good decision about that. And if it had been me and I had checked in and they said, hey, he's not allowed to sign documents, we were told nobody should be signing documents right now, then I could have stepped further. I would have gone back to the family. I would have called. I wouldn't have left, but I would have called and said, hey, here's the situation as I understand it. I'm here at this facility that there's something in place that he can't be signing it. Do you know about that? What's going on here? And push it back on the family. Let them chase it down.
Does that help?
This stuff happens.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. You know,
Going
Anita, this is a
forward.
really great conversation. I'm glad you're sharing
Yeah.
because what I've learned over the years is folks with dementia or advanced Alzheimer's, they get really good at hiding it, really good. And They can have full-blown conversation with you, or what you think is a full-blown conversation. They can sign documents, but in their mind, they're just like, just doing something just to move on to the next moment. And I've been in a real life situation where I thought everything was great. Met with a woman, had a lucid conversation with her, said, here's a power of attorney. It's going to let your daughter do whatever. You understand? You want to sign? Yes, yes. Great. Sign, notarize. And then the very next moment, what's that? What did I just sign? And right then I knew,
Yeah.
not going to proceed with that one. So, just keep in mind that even if they seem lucid, they might not be. And that goes to the point that Laura's making. You do need to check in with the staff to see if there are any holds in place before you proceed.
Again, we're just trying to get as much information so that when we're with the client, we feel empowered to make a decision. Am I going to notarize? I'm not doing anything else. I'm just going to be notarizing, but I still need to do that. And some states are not like California. We don't define competency, so we're not using that language. But there are other states where they do have it in their handbook, what competency is for a notary, and they have to follow that. And so if you're not in California, you want to check, are there any definitions given around competency in your handbook or from your Secretary of State? Because I know Montana for sure has a whole section on it. Okay, Shelley, come on.
All right. Good afternoon, guys. Oh my gosh. This is so good. And I'm going to give you, so my experience,
Go.
there was a woman, she was being hidden by her family. So son had moved in with her, convinced the nursing home. She went in for, I think she broke her hip is why she went into assisted living. He convinced them that she had dementia and then moved her across the country away from family. He was then spending all of her money, continue. And so, and it's just, that's one of the conversations. So it was when family would showed up to the nursing home, they checked in, and the nursing home, the son had said they were very abusive, blah, blah, blah. The family was removed, not able to even see the mom, all because of this. So it's just to kind of be cautious. And I've been to court too. It's terrifying when you get that and it's like, oh my gosh, what in the world? And so, that's why it's just super important that we have those conversations and we take notes, and we really take good notes. Make sure you put in your journal what how did you come to your decision. And sometimes, the role of a notary, I don't know the family situation. I don't need to know the family situation all the time. I just need to focus and remember what it comes down to, and just me and my signer. And so it's just a different, sometimes you can have a totally different side of it. And it's like, oh, so to just kind of just think about it. Thank you.
I'm glad. Thank you, Shelley, for sharing that, because you know what? We're not the notary police. We can't save everybody. All we can do is, based on our experience, is to use reasonable care in how we approach the assignment, and that we go into it knowing these are more complex situations, that they're highly contestable. The documents are usually highly contestable, and you could get pulled into court to support or not support whatever happened. And that's why I try to get as much information. But Shelley's right. In the end, I have to decide, is this within the scope of what I'm here to do? And is this person a candidate to accept that service? And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, absolutely. And Shelley, I just want to say congratulations on grandbaby number 2. She's adorable. Shelley just had another grandbaby, a little girl. So congratulations, Shelley.
Thank you. Thank you. She is amazing.
She's gorgeous. I saw the first picture yesterday. I'm so excited for you. Rob, in Texas. Do you
Hey,
have
everybody.
a thought to continue this discussion, or do you have a different question for us?
I do have a question related to this, and then just two things I wanted to say as well. But
Okay.
so Laura, you did say you asked the question if they already have a POA, and my understanding is if I give them a new POA, that would replace the older POA. So what do you do in the situation that they say yes?
So
Walk
first
out.
of all, I don't always ask that question. It's in these kind of situations that I ask it.
Mhm.
It's not like my standard question. If I go to your house, I'm going to ask you that.
Right.
Not all POAs are written the same way. Some have a clause at the beginning that says this replaces or revokes any previous ones, but not all do, because some people just download it off the internet somewhere and who knows what they got. So when I'm in these situations, what I'm looking for is to see, is there already a designated signer for this person before they're signing yet another document that grants somebody else power? And if that's so, and a lot of times for me, I'm not gonna say for everybody else, I typically do have that family member there that's hired me, they've met me there, they're usually ones that are paying for it. And then I'm gonna be able to ask that question. And the reason I want to know is that, again, sibling issues. If some of you don't know, I am the president of the senior advocacy organization, which is legal aid for seniors here in the Stanislaus County. And there is a huge issue with power of attorney in particular, where one kid gets it done, then another kid gets another one done, then another kid gets another one done, and they're all fighting over whose document is the right one. So since I know that, I ask the question. And when I see that there's something like this happening, not only do I step out and say, okay, you know what, I'm not comfortable proceeding here, but I hook them up with the senior advocacy. I call one of the attorneys there and say, I think there's an issue here. This person is at risk for potential abuse. Maybe there's none happening, but when this kind of stuff is going on, I don't know, and I don't want to notarize anything until an attorney has spoken to them. Now I have that connection because I built it because I knew I would need it for this kind of work. And if you're thinking about, hospital work, or you take hospital work and you're coming up against these kinds of situations, you might want to see there is that kind of agency, legal aid for seniors in every county, in all the
Right.
states. They're in every state. And I would start making a connection with them.
Yeah, I definitely will. I have someone out there from Dementia Friendly promoting me, like marketing at me everywhere. So it's definitely something I need to connect up with the senior center attorneys in the area for sure. Thank you for that. I wanted to quickly mention two other things. One, very briefly, to all the notaries out there, if you get a phone call that says unclaimed funds and you're thinking that that's a scam call, it probably, or I don't want to say probably, but it may not be. I was in the middle of my Toastmasters meeting last night. My phone rang and said unclaimed funds. I'm like, this is a scam, I bet. But I ran out, I answered it, and it turns out, no, it's someone actually in my town who has unclaimed funds out in California there. And they're finding more, so I may even make more money from it. So answer the call if your phone says unclaimed funds. It could be work for you.
I think you're the second person that has brought that up in as many weeks. Didn't somebody bring that up last week too?
They did or not, but I have,
Before.
I got money through unclaimed funds.
I
And
did
also,
too.
guys,
Yeah.
if you don't know, is if money that was due you never got to you after a certain amount of time, they have to give it to the state and it sits in a fund.
Right.
They're unclaimed. And then sometimes you'll get a letter from the state if they know where you are, or you'll get a solicitation from a company that will go chase it down for you.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what it's the company that's going to pay me. They take a percentage or whatever what they found, and so in there is my fee. But yeah, it was just I wasn't sure it was a scam or not. It was a California number. I was like, oh, we'll see. And yeah, hopefully it'll be even more business. But just want to let people know that.
Unclaimed property just sounds scammy, I think, like that title. It just sounds.
Yeah, especially when it comes in on your phone. Like,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, and there's so many scams out there that basically, yeah, I mean, it's hard to discern, but yeah, that is a real thing.
Yes. So, and then the last thing I just want to mention real quick to everyone here, I had my first notary networking meeting last week. That
Good.
was very successful. Obviously, Jen was there, and I see in the group is Diana. I see Latasha. I see Drew. I know Araceli came and had to leave for an appointment.
Oh,
So just seemed to go really well. And actually, now it seems like there's a lot of jealous people out there with all the replies I'm getting, like, "Oh, I should have been there." Blah 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 blah. So
yes,
stay
you should
tuned for the next one.
have. It was really great. We had a good time and a great turnout. So thank you for hosting that and allowing us notaries to get together, Rob. And Diana Hanson has something for us. She is also here in Texas and was at the networking event last week. Hi, Diana.
Hi. I want to piggyback and continue the conversation.
Okay, you know we love a good piggyback around here.
The when I've gone to nursing homes or rehab centers or even assisted livings, um, sometimes I get those jobs directly from the family, but I get a lot of them through signing services or an attorney's office. And one of the things that that is pretty standard is they tell me to check in at the office, and they have you log in and they give you a badge, and they're very helpful. And like when I had to do a power of attorney, I guess it's been a couple of months, I called Rob as a backup witness, and I was so glad I did, because the it was a husband and wife, and the husband needed a new one, but the wife was totally not there. And then I still needed a second one because I did not want to be um, the second notary on, or the second witness on it. And because I talked to the receptionist, she told me the director was there and that he would be more than happy. So I went down to his office and walked down, told him what was going on. And he said, not a problem. And they are your friend. And sometimes that gives you repeat business, because when it was all was said and done, they said, can you go talk to him? And so maybe because of the way that I handled it, that was a good impression. So they asked me for my cards and whatnot, and I've gone back there, and I'm very comfortable. And it's like Laura said, some of those are little communities that, even if it's not a six bedder, like sometimes in the wing, everybody knows everybody. Everybody has coffee and tea and whatnot. So I think it's a comfort thing. To do that. And that way, if you do have an issue, you know, like, well, if I need to call something, they can tell you like how to use the phone in the room, or how to use your phone to call them or something. So I think that protects you in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And as far as the meeting that Rob set up, it was awesome. It was really high energy, and I believe he's getting ready to do it again in August.
Yeah. So if you're a Dallas Fort Worth area notary and you are interested, we will be sharing August location here on the call with you, so you can join us for a little notary networking. Thank you, Diana. Thank you so much for that perspective. And then we have Paula. Paula, tell us what state you're calling from.
Arizona.
Arizona. Okay, I know which Paula this is now.
It's the last name, isn't it?
What's your question for us?
Okay. Similar. I don't know if I told you what happened with my power of attorney. I think it was a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Do you recall? Okay, so I went to the assistant living. Well, first of all, they called me and said, "Hey, I need to do a power of attorney for my mom," and I asked them, does she have, the ID that's not expired? And, oh, yeah, she does. And it's recent, because you don't want back in the olden days and not be looking like her. Oh, no, that's all good. Okay, and she knows what she's signing. Oh, yes, we've already discussed it and she agrees. Okay, so I get there, I get the ID, I look over the document, and then I'm talking to the mom, the signer, and she's holding a conversation. Okay. Then I get to the point where, do you know what this document is? Then the daughter speaks up and tells her what the document is. I said, no, I need to hear it from her, that she understands what she's signing. So, and the mom says, whatever she says. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, who is she? Who
Well,
is
how do
she
you
to,
handle that, Laura?
who is she to you? And she goes, she's my daughter, but it took her a minute to think. And it's like, okay, and what's her name? And then, oh, I know who she is. She's my daughter. Well, what's her name? What's your daughter's name? And then eventually, I mean, she had to think about it and she told me, okay. But she couldn't tell me what the document was.
Yeah.
And I said, at this time, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And the daughter and the witness was just like, well, what if we took her in the back room and talk to her and she comes back out? And I said, no, that's too late, and
That's
you
called
know,
manipulation. Also.
right? And I just like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And
Good for you. Good for you.
and I did say this though, because it was in the afternoon. I said, you know what? If I come back tomorrow morning, if we can schedule for morning and she can actually tell me, what I need to know and not be thinking a while, she needs to know that I may come back tomorrow. No, this has to be done today. Today is the only day. You can't do that. You can't do that to us. And I go, well, in good conscience, I can't do this now.
Yeah.
So I called after the meeting, I called NNA and asked if that was appropriate. And the lady at NNA said, yes, come back in the morning because maybe she wasn't where she's at. And besides, I did ask the facility if she's capable of signing, if she's okay. And they said, yes,
Yeah.
she's good to go. But to me, when the signer, the mother, just like, do what she says, I don't, and I'm just like, you gotta wanna do this. You gotta know what the document is that you're signing because I can't just do it.
Well,
And
I'm curious, Paula, how Laura would handle this. I'd love to hear how she would handle that. Laura, what in that
So I love
situation?
that Paula asked those relationship questions,
Mhm.
like who is she to you and what is her name? I would tell you that it is very common for older people to have to think through before they speak. And you
right,
have to give them that space to do so. So I don't see that as a red flag. If she came up on her own with the right answer, but it just took her a little bit to get there in her head, I don't have an
right,
issue with that because they'll process slower than we do. When she said, well, what she said, and you said, well, you need to tell me what the document is. Another rephrasing that question might
yes.
have been a way to help her without giving away too much of it. So rather than when she said, well, whatever she said, then I might say, well, let me ask you this. That was a power of attorney. Who helps you? Who helps you pay your bills? And
Oh, there you go.
I mean, ask some different questions because that's going to relate to this document. And if she's
Right,
saying, oh, well, my daughter, she does that for me. Okay, well, would you like that to be in writing? Would you like to have it documented that that's the person you want to do those kinds of things? So I'm not explaining the document. I'm asking questions that I know relate to the document. And if
right.
she respond to that, yeah, that she's the one that's going to do all those things for me. She does them now. I would feel confident then to move forward.
I should have done that. Oh, now I feel bad.
No,
Well,
you did.
you know what? We learn from each one of these
Yep.
experiences. You had two great questions that a lot of notaries never ask.
Yeah.
So when they can't just directly tell you, maybe they can describe what they're after rather than saying this is a power of attorney. They may not know what a power of attorney itself means, what those words mean. So I need to find another way that helps them describe what they're looking for.
Oh, okay. And here's another, okay, I've got a question. Um, in my journal, I didn't put anything in my journal. You know what I mean? I didn't put the ID, I didn't put, but you were saying something earlier to put something in my journal, the reason
Yes.
why it didn't happen?
I put whatever I was there on this date at this time, and this was the facility I was at. And in my notes, I would indicate why I denied the notarization. And
Okay.
it could have been because in screening, you didn't feel she was at a level that you felt comfortable to proceed, or what specifically stopped you. She couldn't tell me what the document was, so that you have some evidence to remind yourself. If that
Okay.
person decides to complain to the Secretary of State, you've got something there, because they do complain when we say no. It's not like
Wow.
people, they will complain to the Secretary of State.
So Laura,
Oh,
this has been
go
a
ahead.
fabulous discussion today, you guys. Really important stuff here. And Laura, what I would really like for you to do is to share those 4 questions that you ask when you are faced with the possibility of someone not potentially not being lucid enough to sign any kind of documents, aside from the ones that, Paula kind of took it next level with her questions. But can you provide the 4 basic questions that you ask to determine capacity?
I start out with, do they know who they are? So I'm Laura, the notary, and you are, and I'm expecting them to tell me who they are. So
Mhm.
what I'm checking for them there is, do they know who they are? The next thing is, do they know where they are? And where are we right now? It's my home, I'm in the hospital, whatever it is. So now I'm looking to see they're oriented to where they are. So those are the first 2. Then I will, depending on the document that's being presented, and if I have family members, I look to see, do they understand relationships between who they are and the other people in the room? And who's this lady here? That's Paula. And who is she to you? The exact question that Paula used. Who is she to you? So that's what I'm looking for, relationship, that they're not saying, well, she's here helping me. She's like a caregiver, right? I want the right relationship there. That's the third area I test. And then the fourth one would be about the document more specifically. And the document that we are going to have you sign today, do you know a little bit about that? Can you describe for me what it is we want to get done here for you today? And that's just a prompt for them to describe what they're hoping is going to happen, or what they think is going to happen. And if it's in alignment with the kind of document I have, then I feel pretty good to move on. If it's not, then I'm going to extend the conversation. And then
Yeah.
when I write in my journal, I don't have to write all 4 questions, because I do it the same way all the time. So I put the word screened in my journal, and I know if I was in court, I could say, these are the 4 things I ask.
Love that. It's so important to have this information. And you guys, Jen Cooper, who is really the one that runs this call, if Laura and I are being honest, right, Laura, with all her behind the scenes stuff she does for us here. She has posted in the chat some information about the 4 questions, the 4 screening questions. So you guys can go ahead and open up that window. And as we wrap up the call, you can take a look at it and commit these to memory, because they're very important questions. I'm sorry, Jen, did you have something you wanted to add?
Free PDF download, those questions, so you can save them and you have them to refer back to.
Yeah, yeah. And we love free, don't we? We love free. Well, guys, we are at the end of another amazing Tuesday. These last 2 weeks, we have had some incredible conversations, and thank you so much for joining us. I did want to give you a quick update. If you recall, last week, Anita Ortega was on the call, and I had issued her a challenge to post her website. She had something personal come up, and so she is going to be a bit delayed. She wasn't able to join us for today's call, but hopefully she is back next week with an update on her website. In the meantime, please be sure to join us next week when we will have a very special guest. You guys may have heard of him before. Not quite sure. His name's Bill Soroka. Anybody ever heard of him? He's going to come and talk to us for Michelle's going, nope. He's going to come and talk to us a little bit next week. So thank you guys for being here. Laura, would you like to close us out this week?
I will.
Are you
So
ready this week for a closeout? Woohoo!
if you're ever asked, what is the right day to get something done, it's today. So I leave you with that.
I love it. Thank you guys for being here. Come back next week for another fabulous Tuesday Notary Titans. See you then.
I